podcast where we interview interesting people doing interesting things, where you can expand your connections, your community. Kindness is cool and smiles are free. And let's get this party started. I'm excited about this conversation. It's been a number of years since I was able to connect with Ronald Earl Wilsher. Good morning, Ron. What's going on, buddy?
Good morning, Mr. RussJohns.com. You're looking good.
Well, I'm having a great time doing this thing, and the Pirate Broadcast, over 400 episodes and counting. And one of the things that I know that you know what it takes to actually create this kind of content and be consistent, because we actually had a show together. Remember that?
Back in the day
when I was at the radio station. So
back when we both had more hair
and a shorter beard.
I get beard envy when I look at you. I don't think I could do that, but I remember we had all these sayings we made up. We had a lot of fun, so I'm surprised we've waited as long to do it again.
I know. I've been tracking you down like a bad dog, and you're a hard one to catch up to. So tell us, what are you up to these days?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for staying on me and get me on here, because I've been really wanting to do this. But as we were talking earlier, I'm much better at procrastinating than I want to be, and I'm trying to get worse at it. But I appreciate you inviting me on, and I'm very impressed. You're the only alert that I get on LinkedIn every morning when it's I guess it's 9 o'clock my time. It comes on John's Pirate Broadcast. So I'm very impressed with your how you've done this so many days in a row. So I congratulate you on that. I'm on a lifelong quest to make myself wholly unimportant to the creation of my income.
Yeah.
And you will know when I've been successful, because you will never see or hear from me again. If you do, it will be from an undisclosed location at my discretion. Actually what I've been doing is I've studied a lot of these gurus, and I know you know this, Russ, but they all say the same damn thing. Okay.
Yeah.
You talk to 5 gurus and get 9 different answers. So I finally figured it out. And I think what it is, you got to simplify everything.
Yeah.
And once you do, if you can simplify people's life, they'll give you money.
Yeah.
And so what I've learned is to set up my system that's based on my personality, but the system also has to be very simple, or you won't be consistent enough to be successful with it. I think most people out there, they're chasing so many things at one time that it doesn't really matter. They confuse activity with accomplishment,
Yeah.
So I think what you have to do is set you up a system that will allow you to leverage your intellectual capital 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, and attract people to you that want to give you money. And, I didn't even bring my book. I don't even have a copy of my book here. I have on the back of my book, Attract and Engage is better than chase and convince,
which I've used several times. And I tell people that, and I say, yes, Ronald Earl Wilsher. And I think Ramblings from a
Miscellaneous Ramblings from a Slightly Deranged Mind. If you want that book, you can go to ronaldwilsherbook.com and get it.
Yeah.
I think once we get out of the chase and convince mode, get into the attract and engage mode. But also, I think, Russ, there's another component to it. And that other component is you got to get out of the reactive mode and get into the proactive mode. Most people live life in the reactive mode. They react to everything, including the phone ringing and the text messages and everything, right? Well, you've got to get out of that mode, right? And they also get into the mode of trying to explain everything they do to everybody they meet. You don't have to do that. Right? No, and it's in my book, no is a complete sentence, and any explanation on your part is purely optional, right? And so I think when you get in, and it's a mindset, you get into that mindset to where, we talk about success. Everybody wants success. What is success? Well, to me, success, there's lots of different, versions. To me, success is being able to spend your time ever how you want to spend it. That's success. And it's is there a financial component? Absolutely, there's a financial component. But I think one of the problems we run into in that area is we're out competing on price. I call it the race to the bottom. I work with a lot of real estate agents, and I'll sell your house for 2.5%. Oh, I'll sell it for 2%. Oh, I'll sell it for 1%. Oh, I'll pay you to let me sell your house. I mean, it's insanity, right? Yeah. So I think what you do is you understand, instead of competing on price, you go out and compete on value, right? And so I think that's one of the things you do very well, is that, this interview thing you got going for 400, 500 something days, whatever it is not only are you putting the intellectual capital and adding value to people's lives, you're being consistent with it. The whole key in everything, in my opinion, is to be consistent. Be consistent. And so that's what I've tried to do. I've got a lot of different things going, which we'll maybe mention as we talk a little further, but the whole thing is about setting that up and having fun with it and being consistent with it.
Well, removing the friction from your best value is one of the things that we've talked about over time. And just, there's a lot of obstacles and a lot of noise in the world today, and we have to really focus on what we can do and what our best gifts are. What can we put out in the world that is going to be, like you said, is going to attract and engage, rather than having you have to chase and convince, right?
Well, I think it's called, Russ, I've coined a term called monetize your personality, right? And I think that, if you look at your personality as a circle, I think the key is to live as close to the edge of your personality as possible, as to maximize your fun factor and your earning capacity, and not fall off and kill yourself. There's an edge out there, but I think the closer you live to the edge of your personality, the more attraction power you have. Think about all these, what do they call these people that you watch their life in real time? What do they call that?
Reality TV. Think about, why is that so attractive to people? Well, I think number one, we've talked about this years ago, Russ, attraction is not a choice. If you start understanding that, I think people spend too much time trying to learn how to sell and not enough time understanding why people buy. And if you learn the basic fundamentals of how people's brain operates, we all operate the same, right? Yeah.
And so what is the single best way to make somebody want something? There's one way. Tell them they can't have it. Right?
FOMO. We got FOMO, fear of missing out.
Right. Fear of missing out. Or there's another thing that I said in my last class. It was the fear of loss is always greater than the desire for gain. That's basic human psychology, right? Yeah. So instead of spending your time trying to learn all this technical stuff, which I'll leave that up to Russ, he's way smarter than me, right? I'm going to go out and start conversations. If you're not making the money you want to make, you're not starting enough conversations. But once you get the conversation started, you have to have a system that will allow you to keep that conversation going as long as possible, right?
Absolutely.
We stayed in touch, even though you went to, what was it, West Texas you're in now, or is it North Texas in Phoenix? What part of Texas is that in, Russ?
all the way to Arizona. That's so you think that, because that's a true story. And we have to stay in touch, have conversations, and do what we can with the resources we have, right?
Well, but it's all about, when you get this conversation going, you got to add value and not be in the sales mode, right?
Yeah.
I had a lady hire me a week or so ago from some referral, and I think she's in Florida. I think she told me. And I had a friend here with me, and I was kind of letting her listen in on this lady. I didn't know who she was. And she was like, I have my credit card here. What do I need to do? What do I need to do, Ronnie? I really want you to help me. And I'm like, I put the phone down. I looked at this person I was with and said, I probably should shut up and like take her money. Right. And so the whole thing is once you, right. Like I've always said, if somebody wants to give you money, take it. Right. But I think you're right. We make it everything too complicated, Russ. Everything is so damn complicated. Remember that dude years ago that was running for president, and his line was, "The rent's too damn high." That was his thing. That was his saying. And so I always think, man, everything's too damn complicated, man. So keep it simple, right? Simple is fun instead of complicated and boring.
Yeah. It's funny that we're talking about this, because this is the same thing we were talking about years ago. And this gentleman, High Dives. Hello, Ronnie, Russ, fellow pirates.
What's going on, Mr. HighDives.com?
Stay in touch. Absolutely. Stay in touch.
Well, here's the thing, Russ, that I say, show up, stay in touch.
Yeah.
Most people don't show up, but of the ones that do show up, most of them don't stay in touch. So if you're showing up, staying in touch, you don't have nearly as much competition as you think.
Well, what was really interesting is that I started the Pirate Broadcast, and I started this Pirate Syndicate, this whole concept before COVID, before the pandemic, and it's just increased and improved and expanded since I've done this, and just showing up every day, having conversations just like this, following up has kept me very busy. And, I don't mind doing this kind of thing all day. So it really fits in.
Well, it beats working, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I've never, as I look back on my life, I never really made any money when I worked. But when I added value to people's life, that's when I made most of the money, right?
Yeah.
And so now I have a meme that I put out the other day, and it's going to be in the second edition of my book.
Uh-huh.
Ignorance may still be a choice, but it's no longer a valid excuse. Because I don't know is not good anymore, because you got people like you, and all the information's everywhere, right?
There's no shortage of information. If you want the answer, it's there.
Right. But here's the other thing, Russ. I think what we have to do, we're drowning in knowledge and information, right? But we don't have what we need to get what we want, right? Because we're on information overload. Yeah. And when we get on information overload as humans, again, going back to how we're programmed and made, what do we do when we get on information overload? We shut down, right? Yeah. Yeah. So I tell people, and everybody listening to this, whether you're listening live or listening to the recorded version, start using this when you talk to people. I'm here to simplify your life. That's what I'm here to simplify your life. And you know what, people, Ronnie, I need my life simplified. Do you take American Express? Do you take? Absolutely. Right. Yeah. And so when you start talking about simplifying people's life, and you mentioned this, what's went on the last year, don't get me started on this, but here's what I think coming out of this and forevermore is going to happen. You got to have two things. Number one, you got to simplify people's life, and you got to reintroduce the human touch.
Yeah.
And I have it in my book. It says, the more high tech we become, the more high touch we crave.
Yeah.
We want that human interaction. See?
Well, this year is a perfect example of that.
Absolutely.
That rule. Nathan says, be present and be present in the moment, taking an interest in other people rather than fiddling on your device in the presence of others.
Well, how you doing, Nathan? I agree with you 100%. One of the most valuable things, if not the most valuable things you can give somebody is what? Your attention, your time, because that's something you can never get back.
Yeah.
If you get good at that and you do that, you're going to separate yourself from the vast majority of everybody out there, right? Yeah. Because most people don't do that. They don't listen to learn. They listen to know when it's time for them to start talking. Now, I'm kind of like that, Russ. I ain't gonna say I probably could lead one of those classes because I like to talk, but it's you got to learn how to listen and see what people want so you can simplify their life and add some value, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And and you mentioned it earlier, and I want to come back to this and expand on it because it's really important. And for everyone listening and everyone that has an opportunity to be online or add value to the world, I think it's really important that we look at other people and what they may be doing and look for clues that can help us add value. But if you listen long enough and you go out and search, you'll find the same response and reaction. And one person will say this and one person will say that. And one person will do it one way and another person will do it that way. There's so many ways to add value that you just have to pick the one that works for your personality. Like you said, how you react and respond to people, how you interact and respond to people, your style, your workflow. And once you make that easy and it just flows, life seems so much easier and so much better.
Well, personality is your competitive advantage. Your personality is your competitive advantage in the content war, right? Mm-hmm. People used to come when I sold new homes and they would ask me, what's the difference between you and all these other builders around here? I'd look them straight in the eye and said, that's easy. You get to work with me, right? People buy you before they buy what you're selling. Think about it. And it's how it works, right? And so when you start understanding how that works.
Yeah.
Hey, Miss Angie, is that Schumann?
Yeah. Angie told me that a long time ago. She goes, a lot of people just show up for who you are.
Because traction is not a choice. See, I have in my book, never underestimate the attraction power of the coolness factor. Why do you think I wanted to come on the Pirate Broadcast? Well, number one, to talk to Mr. RussJohns.com, but second, so I can tell everybody that I know him. Man, that's a little selfish, I know, Russ, but but you know what I'm saying? If you can develop the courage to be who you are, you become your own competitive advantage. And I'll give you an example. You know, a lot of the videos I do, I always end them with, think about it, darling.
Yep.
And this lady says, Ronnie, I love your videos, but aren't you worried about you're going to alienate half of your audience? I'm like, no. I said, all the guys that I hang around, they're secure enough in their manhood that if I call them darling, they're okay with it.
Yeah.
He said, besides, that's just how I am. That's how I talk. You know, come on, man.
Use your personality for your advantage. That's a good lesson.
Because it's you, it's who you are. And a lot of people say that. Now, I also have a video that says, if you're an idiot, none of this stuff works. Okay. It doesn't work for idiots. We don't hang around or attract idiots, Russ, right? We only hang around cool people. Right?
Exactly.
That's the other thing is when you're out being who you are, you're attracting the very people that want to do business with you, or they just want to be your friend, as I just said, so they can tell other people they know you. Yeah. I mean, I just sent out an email that says, I'm right now in the process of disengaging the non-engagers.
Yeah. And
you wouldn't believe, I said, you reply back with something, or you maybe get deleted off my list. You wouldn't believe all the emails that I've got back.
Oh, yeah.
No, don't take me off. Don't take me off. Right. Yeah. So when you understand that, the best way to make somebody want something, tell them they can't have it. Right. Don't make yourself so easy and available. You know, now I do that sometimes just out of poor planning. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes it's not a strategy. It's an accident.
But no, it's, I think, like I say, the main thing, once you get your system set up and it allows you to leverage that intellectual capital. Yeah. And instead of having to go out and try to find people, I've said this, and we talked about this, I'm sure, Russ, on all those podcasts we used to do. You know, I don't even think you have to be that good to be successful. If you show up on time, look people in the eye, be nice, do what you say, that's not going to hurt you for sure. No. But I think one of the main things, you just got to get out of the crowd where people can see you. Right? I mean, when you understand that, I mean, how many of us know somebody that we look at them and go, how are they making all that money? They don't seem to be that bright, you know?
Right.
It's just the system, right? They go out there, they be who they are, and they're consistent with it, right? So
that's what I tell people: be seen, be heard, and be talked about.
Well, I have a book that says action creates what is it? I just lost it. Action creates energy and creates momentum, but also something about I'll think of it in a minute.
Yeah, you'll think of it in a minute. Let's go to Nathan. Nathan says there's a time for everything, a time to talk, and a time to hush up.
Absolutely. I'm still trying to figure out those times, and I get them wrong sometimes.
Too many people listen and know what advice to give. Not everything requires advice.
And they just want to listen, especially if it's a female.
Yeah.
Right?
You guys are having far too much fun.
Well, the thing is, I always say, don't add to the noise, right? So
don't add to the noise. And yes, Angie's right every once in a while.
Angie, what do you do?
She's an amazing human that she does a lot.
She's got to be cool if she's listening to us, right, Russ?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just keep it up. Just keep it up. Nathan says, when you're comfortable in your own skin and not worried about what others think, it comes across and you can move forward. I make a point of this all the time.
Amen, brother.
Yeah.
Amen.
And you know, that's the thing that always I took a hint from you, and when I moved here, it's, you know, when you can actually have a conversation and not necessarily tell people, it's not the first thing out of your mouth that says, hey, I'm here to help people do whatever it is, taxes or buy a house or whatever it is. You wait until people ask you, and it's like, I didn't hear what you said. Or I didn't hear what you do, or I don't know what you do. And you said, you're right. It's like
people all the time, they come up to me and they go, you never told me what you do for a living. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I didn't. I haven't figured out if I like you or not yet. If I don't like you, why do you care what I do for a living, right?
Yeah.
So these people, like I say, they lead with their business when they should lead with just start a conversation, right? I mean, how many of us has had people that we hired and we're like, I wish I wouldn't have hired that person, right? Or I wouldn't let them hire me, right?
Yeah.
So it's all about matching and starting, because there's a lot of people that I would rather just have on my list talking about me than has clients. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I can't tell you the number of people that call me all the time and they go, Ronnie, I met somebody today. They really need you. They really need you. Thank you very much. I'll let you know how it goes. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I made a meme the other day, the fact that people are talking about you is not your problem. The fact that people are not talking about you is your problem, right?
That's your problem.
About, right? You got to give them something to talk about. You must be seen to sell and money follows action. That's the one I was thinking about a while ago. You must be seen to sell and money follows action. So just make an appearance, show up, right?
Yeah.
I can't.
Showing up is half of it, right?
It is. And then once you show up, start the conversation and then keep it going as long as possible. I don't know. Did I tell you about this new texting thing I'm using?
Which one?
It's called Project Broadcast. I don't make any money off of it. So I tell people, I don't give a damn if you use it or not. Well, I mean that in a nice way. But
yeah. Yeah.
But it's one of the coolest things. I've always been addicted to text, but I never liked group text. So it's basically one of the best CRMs you've ever seen on a texting platform that is two-way conversation. It's not short codes. It's not any of that. It's the coolest thing I've ever seen. Russ, you know me. I know cool.
Yeah.
I know cool. And this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And so if anybody wants, I'll put it in the description, or we'll tell people if you want to get on my Way Cool Friends list via text. I have a lot of fun with it.
I'll have to check it out. You have to educate me on it.
Well, it would be actually something really good for you. Some guy, I just found him on the internet, and really impressed me because he called me back within like 10 minutes of me leaving a inquiry, and come to find out he owns the company, and he started it not to make money necessarily. He started it for his wife, who was in some company. She had like several thousand people she needed to stay in touch with. So him and his friends created this, and I'm like, this is really cool. So yeah, it's one of the things that I've been concentrating a lot on. I always tell people, every time you learn something, you increase the value of your intellectual capital, right?
Absolutely.
Once you have, Russ, you've got all this in your head, stuff I will never learn about all the technical aspects of what we're doing. And you're really good at it. So what you do is you have a system now, and the interviews is part of it, where you start conversations and leverage that intellectual capital. I told somebody the other day, and I made a meme, unless you figure out how to make money while you sleep, you are fated to die working. You got to have leverage, right? Yeah. And there's so many ways now, because we not only own the media, we are the media, right?
Well, we were saying that years ago. I always, Future Media Association. Remember when I started Future Media Association? Right. You are the media.
It's you, right?
Yeah,
you're the director, producer, and star of your own show, and it's always showtime, right?
It's always showtime.
And now, Russ, think about this audio, which I don't know if y'all have talked about it on any of your previews. You probably have. Sonic branding. It's about your voice is part of your brand, right? And that's why you got Clubhouse and Swell and all these companies coming up, and now Facebook's even introduced it.
Yeah. You know what I figured out the other day, Ronnie, is the ability to have callers call into a live stream,
which is cool.
Yeah, I'm not sure how popular it would be. However, I think it would be kind of cool, interesting to answer a question. You get on a live stream and you have people call in and ask questions.
Well,
it might be dangerous too.
Well, I thought about that, because I've had so many people, we generally, we've talked about this before too, but Russ, we take for granted what we know, right? We assume everybody else knows it. And I think that's a huge mistake.
Yeah.
So I think I've had people ask, why don't you do like something live and just let people ask questions, right? And I've thought about doing that. So that's funny you mentioned that. So maybe you should try it.
Somebody had mentioned that. I think it was Angie. Not every conversation needs advice is great advice. So is knowing that.
Well, let me tell you, Angie will relate to this real quick story I'm about to tell. I had how do I put this? Part of my past, this woman calls me, and I'd read in this book, women do not want your advice. They just want you to listen. And it's like, that makes absolutely no sense to me, but I'm going to try it. Okay? So she calls me up, and we talked for probably, it seemed like 14 hours, but it was like probably 5, 6, 7 minutes. And Russ, I am not even kidding and exaggerating. The whole conversation, I occasionally said, yes, ma'am, just to let her know I was there. Yeah. After the conversation was over, seemed like an eternity. You know what she said? Ronnie, I have really enjoyed our conversation. We're going to have to do this again. I literally dropped the damn phone. I'm like, I didn't say anything, right? Isn't that funny?
You just listened.
You just listened, right? Yeah. And so I'm trying to get better at that. I put out the other day, I said, people say you should hang around with people that are smarter than you, but I don't think they realize how difficult that is for me to do. So I am now, Russ. That's why I'm on with you.
Well, as a pirate, you're always welcome back. We can have conversation and enlighten some lives and shine the light on a few other people. Maybe just have a laugh and enjoy the day, right?
And Russ, I've always liked that. Enjoy the day. Enjoy the day. You know why? That's all we got, brother. That's all we got, right?
That's all we need some days.
Well, they say you only get to live today once, but that's enough if you do it right. Right?
Absolutely.
And so, but no, if any of y'all want to get a hold of me and check out this project broadcast, like I say, I don't make money on it. It's just a great conversation starter, value add, and I've had a lot of people get on it.
Yeah.
It's just a really cool way to stay in touch with people,
That's awesome.
And have fun. So But I want to thank you again. Are we coming to the end of our time? Yes, we are.
Yeah, we got to wrap it up and move on to the day. But I just want to thank you, Ronnie. It's been too long since we had a conversation, and this is the best way I can think of to have a conversation and just highlight a few things and add some value to the world, right?
Amen, brother. Well, I want to tell you again, I really appreciate that. I've been looking forward to this. We definitely have to do it again.
Absolutely.
And, I just can only urge you to keep doing what you're doing, brother, especially if it's working. I always say if you're having fun and making money, keep doing what you're doing, right?
Keep doing what I'm doing.
So thank you very much. And like I say, if anybody wants to get in contact with me, ronaldwilsher.com, or if you want me to tell you about this texting thing I'm using, it's really cool. Thank you, Russ. And
thank you.
We'll talk to you again.
And as always, everyone, you know that kindness is cool. Smiles are free. So you enjoy the day. Take care. See you again. Thank you for joining the Pirate Broadcast. If you found this content valuable, please like, comment, and share it across your social media channels. I would love the opportunity to help others grow in their business. The Pirate Syndicate is a platform where you show up, we produce the show. It's that easy. If you want to be seen, be heard, and be talked about,